Oh, right. Yeah, I'm going to do some comment requests today, not PayPal or Patreon. Yeah, and someone has been spamming my comments with this one for ages, which to be fair is probably the best way to get me to do comments because I rarely get a chance to do comments or emails now, to be honest. And yeah, and sometimes people comment things and I think, oh yeah, that's a good one. It goes on my watch later thing, my watch later playlist, which is where I keep all my to do reactions. But I think I got about 600 videos in that thing. Do you know what I mean? They just get lost, comment requests and whatever. But the best way to do it, as I say all the time, is to keep on sending it, and eventually I will do it. But yeah, I don't know anything about this either. Ultimate Spinach Mind Flowers. Yeah, so this is a new one to me, to be honest. But yeah, I was saying my eye. Yeah, let's go.
the quicksand of my troubled mind, my troubled mind, my troubled mind, my troubled mind. Peace, tranquility.
Do you know that was so hard to kind of put where like what time they've come from, and all the way through, I thought this kind of it didn't really sound like the Doors, but it kind of had that Jim Morrison spirit all the way through. And then obviously right at the end, that poem was almost as if Jim Morrison just started coming through. They found a Jim Morrison frequency, and he just started coming through beyond the grave. Yeah, the ending very Doorsy, but it kind of had that vibe all the way through. But it's kind of a weird one because the guitar was fire all the way through this, like all the way through. It started and it kind of yeah, that's what I mean. This is kind of a weird one to put where they come in the history of music because there's a little of everything. Like there's also like um because at first I was thinking it's kind of a bit Neil Young with the guitar, but the vocals was nothing like that. The vocals made it something completely different. Like it made it a it almost had a bit of a grunge vibe in there, and it had a bit of 80s. That's what I mean. There's so much going on in this, but it had like vocally, it just changed it so much. It changed that backing so much. Yeah, I need to see where they're from. Guitar player's fire though. Whoever the guitar player is, the guitar player was shredding the whole way through. Like all the little fills he was doing in the first bit. What are they called? Ultimate Spinach. Ultimate. Yeah, see, but that's still kind of crazy because there definitely was, like I say, there definitely was that Jim Morrison Jefferson Airplane vibe about them. But I would have actually pegged them as being much later on because, like I say, it almost slipped into a bit grungy, a bit, um, yeah, a bit kind of 80s, that 80s voice of the like the one we did the other day. How does it feel? That kind of low tone voice. But I would have said definitely some grunge. I would have put them in the same kind of thing as but that's the thing, it did really have an early guitar sound to it too. But later bands have yeah, yeah. That's crazy that they're formed in 67 and then 68 is the album that this is on. That's crazy. I would have had them as a much later band. I would have had them as, yeah, late 80s, 90s, I'd say. And they was in 68. That's impressive. That's impressive because as well, like I say, you could. I felt like there was definitely like I say, a Jim Morrison, Doors, and Jefferson Airplane, that type of vibe. Like, but it was like, it didn't really sound like them. Yeah, this was actually a great one because it's kind of blown my mind a little bit to think of them in that time, like with Your Love and all them bands. Yeah, this band's definitely different, even for them, because it also reminded me of carrying a gun. What? Yeah, that's Velvet Underground. Is it Velvet Underground or is it Lou Reed? Carrying a gun. It's a well, yeah, but I think this would have been the same sort of time with Lou Reed. So yeah, but actually, yeah, like I say, it has that type of vibe. But then some new bands do. Do you know what I mean? Some new bands are heavily influenced by that era. Is such a creative era, that late 60s um, time in music. But I would have definitely had these as a more recent band. Because as well, it still sounds fresh. Like it doesn't sound dated either. I mean, some stuff from the 60s does, whether it's how it's recorded or whatever. But even then, you get remastered things. But um, yeah, this was definitely an interesting one. Definitely an interesting one. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do a little sesh on these because yeah, I love the 60s probably is my favorite era, and I've never even heard of this band. Like when we started Love, I'd heard of Love. I knew Love. I knew um House is Not a Motel, uh, and the other one that's on that album. So I like, and most of the time I've like, even if I haven't actually heard the band, I've heard of the band. I've heard the name, but never heard of these. Yeah, what is the best type of spinach to eat? Curly or flat leaf spinach? I put in ultimate spinach, and that was one of the things that come up. So there you go. It's a nutritional benefit to this video. But yeah, yeah, that was fire and kind of mind blowing. To be fair, yeah, yeah, and I'm surprised I don't know because, like I say, I was a huge Jim Morrison fan. He was probably the one. Like, I never really crazily got into Jefferson Airplane. Um, Hendrix, I did. Yeah, but Jim Morrison was my guy, like definitely. But that ending, like I say, like it was like Jim Morrison, weird scenes inside the gold mine. Yeah. What's that album as well? Is it American Prayer? I always get the name of the album wrong with Jim Morrison. It's like a poetry album, but it's actually got some great. It's got my favourite version of Roadhouse Blues on that album, the live version. Yeah. Yeah, this was a great request, great request. But yeah, that's the reactions.